Hello everyone, my name is Dorothy Chia and welcome to Dorothy Chia Piano, where I talk about all things piano teaching and piano learning. Today we're going to tackle a difficult subject which not many people will put it out in the public, and the topic is when your students quit. Alright, every piano teacher would have gone through times when students quit. Alright, and if you've been in this business long enough, and you would actually just take it as part and parcel of you running your business. So first, let's look at the factors of why students quit. Factor number one, and this is a happy quitting reason, all right? The student have completed their time with you. Sometimes students sign up with me for, let's say, a diploma course, right? And so it could be during a 1-year period where you help them prepare for the diploma that they plan to take. And then they go for the exam, and then they pass the exam and they no longer wish to continue, and they have moved on to other new areas in their life. So that's what I mean by they completed that period of time with you. Okay, sometimes students move on because they want to go on to university, and so there are other priorities in their life. It could be that they move overseas, so it's time to move on to another teacher in the new country that they're moving to, and that's perfectly fine. So all students pass through you to through your your studio as pilgrims. All right, they're here for a certain period, and then you fulfilled a certain objective in their life, and then they've moved on. But I must say that every relationship that you've built with the student actually will stay with them throughout their life. Yeah, you have impacted their life, whether it's for a short period or long time that you've worked with them. So this is a happy relationship, and this is a happy reason why you celebrate that they quit and they have moved on to new things in their life. Reason number two, this is a bit sadder, all right? The dynamics between teacher and student have stopped working. So it could be a lot of factors, but probably the most common one would be a difference in style or difference in personality. It could be that your teaching style did not suit the learning style of that student. It could be a very personality. You are extrovert, you're fast, you think fast, you work fast, and your expectations are immediate. So whereas the student is more a relaxed person, own time, own target, prefer to work at a slower pace, and progress is slow, right? So there's a mismatch of learning and teaching style. So that could also lead to students stopping. I've had a few cases where the students do not practice. So it reached a point where week after week after week, you're just working on old things, a rehashing of last week's and last week's and last week's lesson. So it really feels like you are just, it's like Alice in Wonderland, and you run this race that keeps going around and round and round. And I do have a clause in my studio policy. So right at the start, I do mention to parents to build the habit where your child practices and is learning. So when that stops, so they don't practice anymore, then learning stops or learning plateaus. And to me, in my studio, which mostly is quite full, then I feel that they are occupying a time slot that somebody else that wants to learn could actually benefit more in their time with me. So there might come a time where you ask that particular student, do take a sabbatical, and when they're ready to learn or when they're older and more mature, they are always welcome to come back into your studio to learn from you. Okay, so point number 2, dynamics have stopped working between teacher and student. And that's a valid reason why students quit. Reason number 3 could be just a logistic reason. All right, it has nothing to do with the fault of the teacher and nothing to do with the fault of the student. For example, the student have moved house. So your studio is no longer a 5-minute drive away from their house, and they decide to move to another teacher that is closer to where they have moved to. Or usually this happens at the start of every school year. CCA, that means the extracurricular activities that require them to stay back from school, make it logistically impossible now to fit their schedule with your teaching schedule. Okay, so a clash in schedule inevitably lead to a requirement to change teachers to another studio that can fit the schedule of the student. Okay, that's not the problem. All right, so it could be just a reason that is neither the student or the teacher's fault, and that's perfectly fine too. All right, so how to address this issue of students quitting, since year-round and all throughout your teaching career, you're going to encounter this. So what are some of the mindset that you can take on? Well, I offer you 3 mindset that you can probably take on that would help you as you encounter each time a student tells you, teacher, I want to quit lesson. 1 is to adopt a mindset that your teaching is a business. Yeah, you're running a business. So no business is always on an uphill trend. It's just like stocks have ups and downs. Yeah, shares, prices always go up and down. And so you're running a business. So there will be month with good days and there'll be month with bad days. So just as you have students that leave, you have an outflow, you will also take in student that brings in inflow of cash into your business. So run it like a business, have a business mindset, and then you ride along with the ups and downs of your business. Secondly, spread the risk. Okay, so one way to do this is to teach different grades. So beginners tend to stay with you longer because they are fresh, and in Singapore, if you are on the graded system, then that takes about 8 years. They're with you. So between 5 to 8 years of the lifespan of that student studying with you. So lower grades, whereas if you take on someone, let's say doing a diploma, then usually it will take 1 to 2 years where that student is studying with you. So have a spread of higher grade, lower grade, and then that would even out your income. So you wouldn't have sudden dips in income when a student leave. So for example, a diploma student leave, you would have a higher dip than when a beginner leaves because their fees are lower, so your drop would be lower. So if you spread your risk, then again, that in the big picture, you are actually still fine. The other thing would be to spread your intake of students between students who are attending international schools and students attending local schools, because the calendar year for both are different. So international students tend to have that summer break and they might go home for the holiday. So which means during that 3 months break where they are not in your studio, you might experience income drop, all right? But on the other hand, if you have local students whose school holidays are June and December, you can anticipate students outflow during this time. So factor it into your general whole year calendar. Okay, so that was my point number 3. Factor it into your income cycle. All right, so as you bring in new students at the start of the year and they suddenly leave, like during PSLE or O-level, A-levels, and they leave, that's fine, because then you factor it in that the next big intake would be maybe January at the start of the new calendar year. All right, so I hope that has been helpful to you. Yeah, to enjoy your teaching and don't fret too much when a student tells you that they're going to quit, because that is going to be part and parcel of every piano teacher's teaching career. Bye-bye.